And here we are, day, what's that, 79 days out that makes this. So we're gonna actually do something a little bit different for this video, where I combine today's competition bench upper day and tomorrow's squat primary, deadlift secondary day into one video, just to make it a little more efficient. And we will be cutting out the majority of the accessories that are mostly on repeat. But I just got this hunk of shit today. I made lots of trade deals over the years, as in my black high-jet deck van I've traded for. I got that through a trade. I got that through a trade. This one actually paid for, which is rare for me. This pretty heavy-duty ass trailer I got through a trade. This thing is a terrible trade. I did not realize how much of a hunk of Jeep shit it is, but maybe I can do something with it. It is cool at the bones. It's a 4x4 Dana 44 front and rear axle, which is pretty cool. 4-speed manual, straight six, hard to find, 1984 J20 Jeep. Pretty cool, but you can see it doesn't even have a freaking tire on it, and it's rusted to shit, way worse than I thought. But let's see if I can make something out of it. And if there's one thing I'm good at, it's taking an old piece of shit and building it into something at least a little bit respectable. So, moving on, time to bench something moderately heavy today. That was the last warm-up at 365. We will now go to 385 for a triple with a long pause, and then to 405, my first 4-plate bench of the prep, week 1, starting at 405, hopefully. Pretty good start. Let's go. Down, up. Make it look easy. Power. Oh, smooth. So hitting that 385 with that long pause, followed by that 405 single, moving the way they did, I am extremely happy, considering I think last prep I started at a 375 single on week 1. So one of two things are going to happen here. I'm either going to peak out way too early and blow out my bench and completely shit the bed, or actually bench something really respectable to make up for my potentially shitty squat and deadlift. So here's the mission to become a bench specialist. And as I said earlier, we're not going to go over all the accessories today, as they are an exact repeat of the previous week, just heavier, same reps, same sets, just a little bit more weight. So we are now going to cut to some supplements that I use throughout the day, every day, pretty much all year long, to just help me feel better and get the utmost from my training. And directly after that, we're going to cut straight into the squat and deadlift day, which will be tomorrow for me. And now, as promised, I'm going to go over every supplement that I take in a day, throughout the day, every single day. And these are pretty much year-round, not just in a competition prep, whether it be for powerlifting, jiu-jitsu, or anything else I've got myself into. And over here, I will have a brief summary of what they're good for, why I take them, and the dosages that I personally take. Starting with my pre-workout meal supplements, that being betaine HCl with pepsin, berberine with Ceylon cinnamon, and here it is, turmeric curcumin, right? And I take those about 30 minutes prior to my first meal. And the betaine HCl helps with digestion. The curcumin helps with the absorption of the berberine, and the berberine helps with insulin sensitivity. Being my first meal is pretty high carbohydrate. Now, directly following my first meal, I take vitamin C with rose hips, DHEA, and a D3K2 as well. And those are directly following that first meal. Now, for what I use as a pre-workout, first I will put up my DIY pre-workout that for a very long time I was just making myself. Now, just for a little bit of efficiency, I'm using Total War from Redcon 1. I like it. It tastes good, does the job, and occasionally I will add in some of the stuff that is a little low, like the citrulline and other things. But right now, it works well. I like it. I also take 15 milligrams of yohimbine. I used to take 3 milligrams of rauwolscine, which is alpha yohimbine, but it's come a little bit harder to find. And the more I looked into the studies, I found that all of these studies have been done on actual yohimbine, and the rauwolscine is just assumed to be better, but never really tested to be doing so. So I went back to the regular yohimbine as it's proven. The only thing else that's more proven is actual, just good old-fashioned creatine monohydrate. Nothing special, no HCl, none of that fancy micronized style. And I generally take anywhere from 15 to 30 grams a day. If I didn't sleep well and I'm not feeling so great, I will take upwards of 30 grams. On an everyday basis, I'm taking about 15, maybe 20. And lastly, I take 5 milligrams of tadalafil, Cialis, whichever one you want to call it, and I like it for its heart health capabilities. Now, those being the energy, more or less actual pre-workout supplements, these are my supplementary pre-workout things that I also take every single day before training, and that is taurine, P5P, B vitamins, TMG, also known as betaine, and I like some mental focus. And for that, I take alpha GPC and some sort of mushroom kind of supplement. Generally, doesn't really matter. I go through different brands. I'm just looking for something with lion's mane and reishi, and I'm not even sure if it works, but I like them because if I believe they work, then they do work. So on to my last group of supplements, these being the post last meal of the day, about an hour or a little bit more before I go to bed. And I once again take more curcumin turmeric, especially when I'm in prep for a competition where inflammation and just abuse to my body might be a little bit higher than average. And I take magnesium. It's a complex. I will go over what's all in this because it's a complex array of different magnesiums. I take pregnenolone, and then this is selenium, zinc, iodine, L-tyrosine, and ashwagandha. Nice little mix here. If you're training hard, you're pushing yourself to the limits, you might have a bit of an immune system problem where you might be getting sick because you're pushing yourself so hard. That is highly recommended. And then these two together create Glynac, which is NAC and glycine. And that wraps up everything I take in a day. The only thing I did not show, because I do not have some currently, is DHEA, or a high quality fish oil. I generally take it in a pill form of the highest potency that I can find. Little tip is keep them in the freezer. You don't really get those rancid taste burps later on. And these are things that I've picked out over the years to help me at least improve my blood work, improve how I feel, sleep, and overall train to the best of my ability. And I believe each one of these plays a role in my progress over time and generally just overall well-being. And these haven't really changed in a long time. It's what I've been using for quite a while. I doubt I'll be making any changes anytime soon. So this wraps up the supplemental portion of the video. And it's squat day. Oh, look at the babies. How are you? Soda pop. Okay, and that's the best 4 plates have moved in a very long time. My goal today is 555 for a top single without knee sleeves. And potentially, if I feel really good, I might even jump it up a little, but I don't want to get too ahead of myself. Now we go on to the next warm-up, throwing another plate on, keep it moving. Make it look easy. Ha! Make it look easy. Ha! Oof. Let's go. That was easy. And this set would actually tie my PR for no knee sleeve squat. Not for any other particular reason. I used to just put on my knee sleeves around 500. That was just normally what I did. And but 555 is the heaviest I've ever squatted with no knee sleeves, even before the injury. So the goal was to be able to build back up and at least match that PR, which I'm about to do right now. And I'm gonna make it look easy. Make it smooth, make it easy. Down, up. Make it smooth, make it easy. Down, up. So that moved about as well as I could have expected, and I've been making 50-pound jumps every week, which is pretty substantial, for me at least, as I'm normally doing 10-pound jumps week by week. 555 isn't that heavy of a squat in where I should be right now. It is the heaviest I've squatted in over 4 months, doing so with bare knees, matching my all-time best bare knee squat. This is definitely giving me hope that I'm moving in the right direction. So now I'm left with the question, do I start adding knee sleeves back in, or do I keep pushing the bare knee? I've been able to add just about 50 pounds a week without it hurting any more than the previous week, which means I am definitely healing as fast or faster than I am progressing. So if I can just keep up this momentum, and now I'm going to start making smaller jumps. If I'm feeling much better between now and then, I might even make a bigger jump, maybe even shoot for the 600, which is something I'm really hoping to break back into sooner than later. Now moving into the back downs, hoping to continue with this momentum, make them smooth, make them easy, make it look easy, make them feel good, and then some deadlifts. Last set, best set. Make it look easy. And now squats moved well, keeping that momentum, straight into deads. Let's go. And looking at what I had planned over 12 weeks for my potential progression, I'm actually ahead on squat, bench, and deadlift. So everything is going very well, which gives me room, if needed, to slow it down so I don't potentially, one, peak too early, or two, push too hard and re-aggravate an injury that I'm trying to build back from. So now that I've done my main movements, I have some stiff leg deadlifts up next with some bands. But like I said, we're gonna skip over all the accessories. They're the exact same thing as the previous week. So now actually we're going to cut into some of the conditioning that I'm doing on my off days. There are two things that I utilize to lower my weight slowly over time without negatively impacting my strength through a prep. One is obviously movement. I add a little bit of movement, and this time I'm doing something very different, which you will see in just a moment. And two, lower calories minimally. So I am probably in a 100 or 200 calorie deficit maximum, never any more than that. And this keeps my energy high, it keeps my mood high. I don't like training hungry, I don't like to be hungry. So just by adding a little bit of movement on my off days and lowering calories a little bit, I can lose, about a pound a week over these several weeks. I started at 242 in over several weeks. I am now down to 234. I will probably raise calories around the 228, 230 pound area, as I don't really need to go any leaner than that, giving me about an 8 or 10 pound water cut to make the 220 class. Rocky. Look at that boy. That's a beautiful boy.
That's not very nice, Luda. Did you see that, Papa?
Mm-hmm. So my normal conditioning would normally be rucking, walking, sprinting, all sorts of different things. But for the past several weeks, I've chose to use basketball. And this is a little bit more fun. So if you can see, I'm changing directions, I'm running, stopping, jumping, and I found this a pretty good way to do my conditioning for me without absolutely hating it. So what I do normally is I do 50 shots. Whether I make the shot or not is not important. I just, and I'm definitely going to miss a whole lot more than I make. And I get some jumping in, some quick movement. And I generally will do this for about 15 minutes. Then I generally go into some dribbling practice. You can see them in different positions, right? Just making fun, right? Just doing something that is a little bit more unconventional, something that you don't absolutely hate. This still gets, after I check the watch, a couple thousand steps in. So why not make your conditioning a little bit more fun? And I do this 3 days a week. And if you can't tell, I am on a sloped driveway, which makes this pretty terrible for my calves. Oh, fucking airball. Running after the ball, chasing it down, getting it back, all of that. It's pretty damn good conditioning. And it's fun.